Welcome to another edition of TechCast. Our guest today is Dr. Shreekant Thakkar, Chief Researcher at the Secure Systems Research Center at TII. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Thakkar, can you tell us something more about the Secure Systems Research Center and what it does?
Right. So, the Secure System Research Center is about building what we call zero trust autonomous system platform, which is lots of words.
Right.
Okay. So, what are we talking about when we say zero trust autonomous system platform? What we wanted to build was a platform where you can hook up different kinds of robots.
Right.
Have an orchestration layer for the robots, and then the ability for the robots to communicate to perform a task.
Right.
And so what we built was what we call an immune system for the robots. We want to
Right.
make sure that they are, not infected with viruses,
Right.
right? And so we built the system where we design, let's say we're building a drone which needs a flight controller and a communication system and a mission computer system. And so when you take all of those three pieces, we design each one of them with ground up.
Right.
And while we use open source, we put in a lot of security checks. And so these systems are built with, like your phone is with secure boot and all of those kind of things. But it also uses hardened software stacks,
Right.
which have been tested for penetration testing and all of those
Right.
things. They perform the task. Anybody writing an application can write an application on it. It would work normally. But they don't see security in your face type things like on your PC. You
Right.
sometimes see, oh, I need to check viruses and I need to do this and that. We don't do any of that.
Right.
We assume when
Hmm.
the system comes up and working, that it's safe.
Right.
It also assumes that whatever it's talking with is somebody it knows,
Right.
right? And the pipe it's talking over is also safe,
Right.
right? And so these are ways to manage it. And while it's running, it's checking, itself to make sure there's no intrusion. And in the case of, a drone or a UGV, they also look for their own health and
Right.
make sure that there is nothing kind of adversely happening, like maybe the propellers are not working properly, a motor is down or something, or it's going to die. So it does a preventive mechanism
Right.
of managing it.
Hmm.
And then the entity that controls it, we normally call command and control. We call it flight and mission operations. Is also built with zero trust. So we call it end to end from all the way out from the command and control to the edge devices is completely, secure. It's self-monitoring, and not only as an individual, but also how when it's talking to other robots,
Right.
it's checking to make sure that they know each other, and there's nothing funny going on between them.
Right.
And so that's how we keep the system safe.
Absolutely. Now, tell us more about how the Zero Trust Autonomic System platform. You spoke about the immune system for robots and all that. That's very intriguing. So, can you go a little deeper into that and sort of explain?
Sure. So the immune system is basically, just like we have an immune system
Mhm.
that, when it sees, what do you call an infection coming into our body,
Right.
we basically see white blood cells will attack the viruses or whatever it is that it's trying to get rid of.
Right.
Here, it's the same thing,
Hmm.
that the system has its own immune system,
Hmm.
which it knows that, from building it, from protecting it, from while it's running, it knows that if something comes into the system
Right.
that it doesn't is not aware of, then there is an issue,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
And we have many different things. So we use a lot of AI capability as well.
Right.
But the AI capability is all based on agent technology and generative AI. And so what it does is we have a system called secure runtime assurance. It's
Right.
exactly what it means. It says that I want to secure my assurance while I'm running.
Right.
And it's basically looking for intrusions.
Mhm.
And when it sees an intrusions, it takes the right action, just like our white blood cells would do in our
Right.
body to take care of that issue, right? And so there's ways of mitigating it. There's ways to, if there's some intrusion happening, let's say in the software stack, they will get the software stack, that piece, to reboot without bringing the system down. And if it sees a threat to the safety, which is one of the things we most consider, safety to human beings or animals, or let's say a drone is flying and there's some intrusion, you don't want it to fall on somebody.
Right.
You don't want it to hit animal or whatever it is that it's trying to protect.
Right.
So it takes an evasive action, either return to base or land somewhere safely. So
Right.
this agent is constantly looking at it, and it's also that unlike humans, we don't know when you are attacked unless we see you kind of sneezing or something that you're
Right,
not feeling
right.
good, right? These agents are proactively checking with each other to make sure that one of them has seen the intrusion and they are aware of it, and so they can collectively act on it as well. So that's
Right.
what we call secure runtime assurance. That basically is like the white blood cells in the system.
Right. That's very interesting, and the analogy is so correct. I mean, like the white blood cells and the immune
Right.
system for.
Right.
I mean, that's beautiful. So now, how can today's responders basically use machine speed coordination to cut through sensor overload, basically, and make faster, safer decisions?
Right. So it's a very interesting question. So when I told you we have created this zero trust autonomous system platform, it actually includes humans as well. And these are humans, that are actually involved in certain tasks.
Right.
So let's say it's a first responder for firefighting, right? And I use that as an example. So the firefighter today, is by him or herself fighting fires, let's say a forest fire or a building fire. They're really not aware of any of the stuff going around it. So what we built is as the same unit, where the mission computer that goes into the drones, we actually put it behind the first responder,
Right.
the fireman in this case, right? And it's connected to the same network. And he has or she has basically AR-based glasses and a camera on them.
Right.
And so they can see what the drones are doing, and the
Absolutely.
drones can see exactly what that person's doing.
Correct.
So that's how they are actively involved in fighting a fire. They're part of a team.
Nice.
And the other piece which happens today is that it's a very stressful environment for firemen, right?
Right.
So just like our secure runtime assurance is monitoring the health of the drone and what's happening to, let's say, UGV and stuff, our secure runtime assurance on that first responder unit is monitoring the health of the human. Is he
Right.
under stress?
Right.
Because it's looking at his body vitals and stuff. Is he in imminent danger,
Right.
as such? And so not only it informs the command and control, but it makes even the fireman aware of
Right.
it, that he's going to experience something.
Right.
If something stressful is going to happen to him or her. So this is how we, make the same system that monitors the drones monitor the health of these firemen and staff, or in this particular case, right? So this is how we actually keep all of those guys safe in the system.
Very interesting. It's
Right.
it's very innovative too. I mean, like,
Well, we want them to be eventually, be part of the same system, so they can feel and see the same things. And the other piece, which is also unique to what we do, is what we call, loaded words, spatial temporal reasoning. So what does the spatial temporal reasoning mean? So the spatial temporal reasoning is, let's say, you're driving an autonomous car like Tesla,
right.
and if you've driven that car in autonomous mode, what you'll see is that on a freeway or a street, I haven't used it on the street much, but I've used it
Right.
on the freeway. That it sees everything around itself, right? And unless something is going to intrude it, in its way, like somebody trying to cross over in the lane while you're driving in the fast lane, then the car will brake or something.
Right.
It could be the same thing on the street. If somebody steps in front of it, it will brake, right?
Right.
A human, on the other hand, well, most reasonable humans, let's put it this way, um, are also aware. Oh, I'm in the street. I see some kids playing around
Right.
the cars, and it might, they, may drop the ball and run over the, onto the road, or a cat might cross over.
Hmm.
And so the humans not only look at what's happening in front of it, but are aware that something may happen if they see a kid moving or they see cat crossing or something, and so they will normally slow down, right?
Right.
So that's called spatial temporal reasoning, because
Right.
the humans have a way of predicting what may happen, while just straight autonomous robots don't have that.
Right.
So what we're doing is we are also including that aspect into what we are doing.
Right.
So, so we've added spatial temporal reasoning, and it comes in different ways.
Right.
So let's say a fireman's fighting a fire and stuff.
Hmm.
So the immediate danger is to the firemen is the fire turned on them,
Hmm.
right? We lost, for example, I'm from Oregon, and we lost about 12 firefighters in forest fires. And it's a devastation not of loss of life, but also the talent, because those are one of the best trained people in the world. And it's unpredictable fire changing. So the spatial temporal reasoning is collecting the data from around the
Hmm.
fire. It's
Right.
looking at how the wind is blowing, where the fire is,
Hmm.
and it's going to predict and say, in a few minutes, this may happen.
Right.
And it will warn the firemen, and it'll warn the robots to, stick back or something. So we use spatial temporal reasoning engine to basically say, hey, there's something going to happen,
Hmm.
and let's take a preventive action. The same thing, this what we call secure runtime assurance, acts in millisecond to actually avert, disaster. This one acts in minutes to predict what is going to happen. So we use this same thing that the humans use, again, to basically guide the robots to safety, security, and resilience, basically.
Absolutely. Now, uh, can you tell us some real world applications where zero trust autonomic system platform can help humans and robots work together?
Right. So I think, my favorite example is really easy to kind of share. And this is one of the demonstrations we are doing both here in Abu Dhabi and in California, is firefighting,
Right.
right? We want all of these entities that I just talked to you about, including the first responders, have the capability of connecting to this system.
Right. Right.
And the idea is, just to give you some perspective, we work with Caltech and Cal Fire, which is California Fire Department,
Right.
working with us. They told us, you have one KPI. Your KPI is, I'll tell you, it takes us today 1 hour
Hmm.
to engage with a fire's
Hmm.
resolution after it starts, and it burns 4 football fields per minute.
Okay.
So you can imagine the devastation it's going to cause even before fire department can do,
Right. Right.
right? So what we've also invented are these sensors. We call them robot sensors,
Right.
and they are based on some of the work which was done earlier at Berkeley in the 20s, but the technology didn't exist there to productize that concept. But the idea is that you would create these robots, and they are just sensors. You go plant them around the forest, all over the place. Very inexpensive. Ideally, you should be around no more than $20,
Right.
and they are no more than maybe not even the size of this cup, maybe a
Right.
quarter of the size of the cup, and you plant them around the forest,
Right.
about 1.5 kilometers apart. And these things are only active when they hear something or they they are basically sensed to sense gases, fire, light. So their audio and rumbling, vibration. So as soon as those sensors detect, they will inform the system, the flight, the command and control system, to basically um, invoke the autonomous system right away, including fire people and stuff.
Right.
So this is a demonstration we're actually going to do with the California Fire Department
Right.
in California, and we're going to do first here in Abu Dhabi for because you have lots of skyscrapers in here,
Absolutely.
right, in
Absolutely.
Dubai, and so they are worried about the same thing. They don't realize when the fire has started till a lot later. So if you can randomly place these sensors, and so these sensors are basically then going to respond, and again, they are part of the same immune system, so that we know nobody tampers them, right?
Right.
So we use the sensors to have an early warning detection, and then we deploy this safe, secure, and resilient system to go, tackle the fire, basically. So this is how, a real world example, take another example, earthquakes,
Right.
right? There's devastation. There's no communication systems. Services are all desperate. And some of our communicating with the weather service on a different channel.
Right.
Medium. You're communicating with people on the ground in a different medium, and then you also with the earthquake. People are monitoring for aftershock. You're communicating with them to make sure that your people are going to be safe. We're going to try to find people. So the biggest issue there is finding people as soon as possible after an earthquake. So we deploy the same system here, right? Our communication system is without an infrastructure.
Correct.
Right? It is completely infrastructure independent. So we're not dependent on 5G or any network-based system.
Right.
Our system is all self-contained.
Correct.
Right? We could deploy that immediately, and we can deploy those robot sensors very quickly. So why did I invent a robot cockroach?
Right.
Guess what? I want those robot cockroach to creep around those earthquake areas,
Oh.
right, into little crevices and stuff where humans can't go, big robots can't go, but these things can crawl around and quickly find people.
That's interesting.
Right? And they can quickly find out how bad it is inside, even under crevices, because they've got a little camera that shows things. They can detect sound, they can detect heat. So they can very quickly find those, people who are trapped and bring rescue teams to them, right away. So this is, I know we all don't like those guys, but here is an example of how you could take an example from nature, which is a cockroach, and saying, oh, it can crawl in all kinds of places. Let me invent a robot like it. Right? So this is how we basically save people as well. So our goal is to use autonomous systems to create, economic wealth for this country. I think we are one of the top places in the world that has built this class of system. And we'll demonstrate this capability here first in Abu Dhabi. And, I want to bring that capability sooner to the table than anything else.
Absolutely. It's fantastic, the work that you're doing and the innovations that you're spearheading. And the UAE is just the place for that, because there is encouragement from everywhere, the government, the people.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful place to innovate and create and do good things. It's exciting, absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for the insights that you've shared.
Thank you for inviting me here and privileged to talking with you and sharing some of our thoughts.
It was a real pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're most welcome.